talk about the special verbs. Now, what makes a special verb special? They are the only verbs in the English language that we can use to form a negative sentence or a question. So the big question is, what are they? So let's count them off. Number 1, be. 2, do. 3, have. Number 4, can. Number 5, will. Number 6, may. Number 7, must. Number 8, shall. And last but not least, ought. It seems like a lot to remember, those 9 verbs, but those verbs you have to get to know. You have to memorize those verbs. And if you're having a hard time, there's a really simple way. Doobie-doobie-doo, I have you. And it'll help you to remember them all in sequence. Practice it, and it'll stick. Those 9 verbs are almost never content words in positive sentences and in questions. What does that mean? It means that we use the weak forms. In the negative, they are strong forms, absolutely, always, and forever. They have to hear those words in a negative sentence, and if they don't, they may not even understand that it's a negative sentence. Even worse, if you say those words perfectly in a positive sentence, then they'll probably understand that it's negative. While we're talking about those negative sentences, remember that you're going to use the contracted form in regular speech. If you don't use the contracted form, it's formal and we feel a little bit strange. So let's get to the weak forms. We're going to use the contracted form for be and have, and you should know those by now. If you don't, definitely Google it. Now what about do? Do, we are only going to use in negative sentences and questions for normal speech. That means that for positive sentences, you're not going to hear a weak form. Do in a negative sentence is going to be a content word, but take a look at the question. And the question is going to be does. Do you, does he, does she, does it, do we, do you, do they? Can is a real kicker. For the interrogative and for positive sentences, it's can. I can speak English, not I can speak English, I can speak English. Can you speak English? So will, for positive sentences, we're going to use the contracted form. I'll, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll, will, you'll, and they'll. And in questions, you're just going to reduce it a little bit, and it's going to be like will. Will you, will he, will she, will he, will it, will we, will you, will they. For must, we're going to reduce it and say must for questions and for positive sentences. For example, must you learn English? Well, the answer must be around here somewhere. Shall is kind of reserved for suggestions in the interrogative form, and we just reduce it a little bit and say shall I, shall we. May is a little bit more formal, so for questions and for positive sentences, we're just going to reduce it a little bit and say may. May I go? You may go. For the negative, because it's formal, we're not going to use the contracted form and we'll say may not. You may not go. Ought isn't really used in negative sentences or in questions. We most often use it in positive sentences, and because we always use it with the infinitive with to, we generally say it like one word, oughta. I ought to go. It ought to rain. Of course, the past tenses of all these special verbs are also special verbs, but in the interest of keeping this short and sweet, I'm not going to talk about them in this video. If you're really interested in hearing about the weak forms of the past tenses of these special verbs, post a comment at the bottom of this video. Otherwise, Google it.